interviewing process. But I think it's not fair to us. The culprit is the Kenyan public. When you are interviewing for someone, and I think even when we interviewed for Baraza, Justice Baraza, and that issue arose, they said, but you guys just interviewed her. I mean, it was public. Why didn't you address these issues? We interview a person. We put in the papers and we say that we are interviewing Ahmednassir. If there is anybody, please come forward. Kenyans don't come forward. But now when there's an issue and then you try to address, they say, but I mean, you guys, you didn't know this. I mean, this lady did this when she was there. She did this when she was there. I agree with you. But there is need for the Kenyan public to come forward with information and share and say, for example, that Ahmed, when he was chairman of the Law Society, he did this, he did this. Then you do investigation. Of course, there's a lot of fitna in this country, but there is need for Kenyans to come forward and not complain.
Let us say, Ahmednassir, let's say that then you guys recruited the right person and put the right person in office. Mrs Shollei was all right. But once she was in office, you guys slept on the job in terms of oversight. So she got into wrong things. Isn't that a proper conclusion?
No. Partly you can say that is an issue that, our oversight role. But I think really it was a question of, the budget expanded so much.
That you couldn't manage. And you are the ones who asked for it.
Not just managing. The budget expanded so much that the people who were doing the administration, I think, got excited with their mandate. So there was one contract after another they were giving, one contract after another they were giving. And I think they internalized the fallacy that we don't have an oversight over them. And that's where the problem is. If you look at the issues Shollei is saying, she's saying that JSC has no control over her. That the only person she reports to is the Minister for Finance. How absurd can that be? That's the problem, and we told her no.
She hasn't quite said that. I think in terms of authorizations, when you look at the report of the allegations that you leveled against her, her responses, and your observations, when you ask for specific issues like signatures and seals of authority, she made it clear that some of those exigencies come from, the Treasury or the Minister of Treasury, and not necessarily that the JSC has no oversight.
No. I disagree. If you look at the first 3 pages of her response, and I hope you have it here, she says,
it's a huge document.
Yes, she's saying, I'm answering to you out of respect, but I'm not responsible to you. The person I'm responsible to is the Minister for Finance. That's what she says. And it's not true because...
I didn't see
why is actually, it's on page 1 and 2. She says, subject to that caveat that I'm not responsible to you, is now, and with that caveat, I will now address the issues.
How is GSC?
That's the opening statement.
That's how is GSC
it's not
commissioner,
reflected in your report,
she has complained. She has complained of. She has said, "I know 3 commissioners who are against me," and she has been very clear about it. And I bet you are one of them.
Yes, it's 4 commissioners. She said actually
about 4 of them.
They become 5 subsequently.
Now, what is the problem? Is GSC working as a team, or do we have personal differences with?
No. JSC is very united.
Is
under
it?
Yes, extremely. Very united under the chairman of the Chief Justice. What she has done is that, when we went to Mombasa and we suspended her, then we came back to Nairobi and the Chief Justice said, let us review that and see whether we can allow her to work as we do the investigation. We voted, I think, 5-4. From that day, the people who voted for her suspension have become the people she has difficulties with. That's all.
Right.
And when you do your voting, must she be aware that this one voted for me, this one did not vote for me?
It's a small commission with certain ideological divide, so you can know how people stand on certain matters. Yes.
To what extent do you think this entire affair has damaged both the JSC as a commission, but also the judiciary's standing?
My respectful view is that it has not damaged the process.
It hasn't?
Yes, of course it was not necessary. I mean, Gladys Shollei should have gone quietly, like any other person do when you is fired.
But surely she has a right
not to make
express
noise.
her. No, she has a right to express her displeasure, especially if she feels that she has been treated unfairly, which she has stated time and time again that she feels that she has been wrongfully treated.
The public is there to judge. We treated her fairly. The first time when we suspended her in Mombasa, there were issues. Oh, you guys are investigating her without giving her the reasons. We realized there may be a mistake there. We retreated back. We retraced our step. We set aside that. We said, okay, now
We'll do it properly.
We'll do it properly. We gave her the charges. We told her to explain. She explained 56-page document, interim report. 1 week later on, she gave us 76-page final report. We told her to come with a lawyer. They came every day, one objection after another, one objection after another. When we told them, now, please, please, come and give your evidence, she said, I will call the Minister for Finance as a witness. I will call the Solicitor General as a witness. I will call this, 50 people. We told her we don't need those 50 people because they are not on the dock. You are on the dock. Start. She collected her file and said, I don't want to participate in this. I want to go to the High Court. We told her, we wish you well. And that was where then. So we went through full process, as best as it can be. We cannot, we cannot force someone to sit there and defend herself if she doesn't want. But we went through the full process. We gave her a fair hearing. And I think the judiciary, in all fairness, has shown other institutions how to handle matters, even with difficult employees.
But I'm still coming back to this whole matter of the separation of powers. Shollei says that she is singly in charge of financial accountability and accuses you of meddling, in that. She's citing the law. She's saying this, according to the Treasury, I'm the accounting officer. The CJ is the head of the judiciary. Title head, we might say. But money control is not in his hands.
Substantive head.
Okay, yes. Except in the financial management. Because that, Shollei is saying I'm the one in charge. Isn't there a discrepancy in that? Isn't there perhaps a lacuna in the law that needs to be cured so that the CJ is actually also directly responsible for the actions of the registrar?
No, actually, there is no lacuna. I mean, Shollei unfortunately misinterprets the law. She is confusing the idea that she's the accounting officer. That one is not an issue. But she doesn't run the management. I mean, there's a director of finance. A very qualified director of finance who runs. There's a director of administration. We have all those directorates. So those are her people, and that she is overall in charge. But it doesn't mean that when you are the accounting officer, you are just responsible to the Minister for Finance. No. The Minister of Finance just designates her as the accounting officer. But in terms of responsibility and accountability, she is responsible to the Judicial Service Commission. She is responsible to the Chief Justice, not as the total head, because it's a constitutional word. The Constitution says that the Chief Justice is the head of the judiciary.
Yes.
With that, there's a lot of responsibility, there's a lot of powers. Shollei's biggest mistake was her inability to appreciate a proper understanding of the financial law. She talks that, we are not financial experts. It's true, we are not financial experts. But there are some basic things we know.
Such as?
Such as that there's a certain way you spend public money. When you are spending public money, there is something called procedure. If laymen like ourselves have brought out all this financial mismanagement, just imagine when there's a proper forensic audit of the judiciary. This molehill will become a mountain.
You have said that money has been lost and probably this will go on to court and somebody will be convicted. Whether it is the CJ who is in charge or the Minister of Finance, if money has been lost, why hasn't that minister or whoever is in charge taken action?
When money
because I thought, Commissioner, that much as the judiciary is independent from the executive, at least there is a meeting point where you're supposed to work together to safeguard public interest and finances.
There are many meeting points, like our budget is approved by Parliament. There's an annual report we give to Parliament on how we spend the money, all this. Actually, Parliament is the institution that is responsible in supervising the judiciary and how it spends money. So there's a lot of linkage, there's a lot of interactions. We don't say because we're independent financially, we are not accountable to anybody. The judiciary is accountable, one, to the Kenyan people. It's also accountable to Parliament.
It's odd you say that, because when Parliament tried to summon you to look into this Shollei matter, you stress the independence and the separation of powers. But here you're giving us a different response.
No. In terms of financial management, we are accountable to Parliament. Parliament has an overall site.
Okay. So if they said they wanted to call you to account for this missing money, the 2.2 billion,
yes,
then you would appear.
Yes,
right.
Actually, Friday we are going before Parliament.
Yes.
the whole commission, although they just wanted 6 of us to come, but the whole commission will go there. Parliament has an overall side, we don't deny, but there are certain issues, like we maintain certain independence, especially on, you know, the legal aspect of it. But when it comes to financial management, we are accountable to Parliament. But also it's fair. It's not fair, for example, to say Ahmed should come because I'm a commissioner. It's an institution. When you want Parliament to summon the judiciary, they should summon the accounting officer and tell him, you know, explain this, explain this, explain this. But every time you call the Chief Justice, for example, I mean, it's not proper.
Right. We have to take a break now. This is Cheche, live on Citizen TV. We're speaking to Commissioner Ahmednassir Abdullahi of the JSC. If you've got any comments or questions for him, you can SMS us on 22422. We're discussing the state of Kenya's judiciary following the sacking of the Chief Registrar, Mrs. Gladys Boss Shollei.